Welcome to the Marketing Department series, Get Your Marketing in Motion. To find this series, it's a pretty awesome series that we have. You just click on the webinars link, and we've got replay webinars on every session up to this point, leveraging the power of media for business growth with Guy Dawson today. But you can see our full range of different marketing topics. And if you look at this, you really get a 360-degree view of marketing activity and how to assess your marketing. Our focus is on looking for the low-hanging fruit in order to get your marketing in motion. And the idea is that a lot of businesses have great plans for their marketing and great ideas, and there's information all over the place that we get from different sources, and so we make our plans and then maybe do very little. And what needs to happen is at least to make some movement in a forward motion. And so each of these webinars is based on a few simple things you can do just to get moving, because the idea is that you can't steer something that's not moving. And so if you can do a few marketing activities, you get it in motion, you can begin to track your results and then adjust. And that's a great way to start doing something in marketing. Make 2020 even better than 2019 for your business. And we've got, brand image, how to build your brand image, creating multiple income streams, controlling your relationship marketing, business systems and automation. So important to have that working. 5-step online review system for business growth. And that's all about reputation management. What are a few things you can do to get started with that? How to create a video marketing strategy. 5 ways to integrate your website into your marketing process. And how to create a content marketing strategy, getting content, valuable content out on the internet. And all of these give you a few simple things you can do without doing a lot of education, without spending a lot of money, just to get moving. And then you can always increase, you can always improve your marketing, but you need to get started, get in motion. And so today, Guy Dawson is going to focus on leveraging the power of media for business growth. And you can click on his page. What you're going to see here is how to create valuable relationships with business journalists and bloggers, do-it-yourself methods for creating and distributing money, making press releases, 5 easy steps that will make your company a magnet for media. And so by the time you're finished with this webinar, you're going to know how to broadcast your brand image and marketing message to a wider audience. How great would that be? Create and distribute press releases with more ease and success, and experience media coming to you for a story. How great would that be? Somebody comes to you and wants to get your story and get that story out instead of you tracking them down. So Guy's gonna share all of this with us, and wanted to just take a moment and take a look at Guy, introduce him. He refers to himself as a natural cheerleader, loves to see people succeed. He launching his PR firm in 2008 was the culmination of everything he'd done: journalism, networking, and public speaking. His ideal client is passionate about their product and their message and congruent with their purpose. I will never give up on a person's story unless they give up. How great is that, working with a PR person that's going to stick with you, and you can only fail when you give up. It was during the Depression in 2008 when Guy successfully launched his PR business, starting with only $75 seed money. So Guy understands, wherever you are in business, how to turn that around. You can start from nothing. It's not about the money. It's about how badly you want it. His ideal client is passionate about their product and message, and these are aligned with their purpose. One of the common causes of business failure is lack of knowledge and experience in how to effectively market a business and spend marketing funds wisely. And that's what happens with a lot of our businesses. We sink a lot of money into things that don't work. Guy has the experience to really help you focus on the marketing expenses, activities, focus that is going to produce the best result. He helps businesses create a marketing blueprint, a magnetic message, and share that message with clients, team members, and the wider marketing audience. And he lives in Las Vegas with his 20-year-old son, deeply involved with the community as a past director of Toastmasters and district and board member of Spirit Therapies, a nonprofit organization devoted to utilizing horses in therapeutic healing. Do you ride horses, Guy?
I love horses.
Okay. Oh, maybe tell us a little more about that at some point. Okay, he's also a member of Lambda Business Association and Team Referral Network. His idea of recreation includes water sports, travel, fitness, and personal development. He plans to write about art in his retirement. I'd love to hear a little more about that, Guy. What type of art?
What type of art?
Yeah.
I'm really into abstract art.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, really. I mean, I love all art, but I would definitely like to write about abstract art.
Do you paint yourself, or do you are you a connoisseur of art, an art critic? Where would you put yourself there?
Yeah, I would say I would be more on the connoisseur
Okay.
side. I'm definitely not gifted with the ability to paint, or it's just, well, I guess we all have the gift. I wouldn't share my paintings with the world,
Okay.
but I have a great appreciation for art.
Okay. Well, I won't have you flip up your paintings on the screen right now.
Yeah, be like finger painting, right?
Well, abstract art is something that I've not fully understood, and I know that you can really go deep, and so good for you. So, okay, why don't you take it away, Guy?
I appreciate the opportunity to give this presentation about how you can use the power of media as leverage to grow your business. And the concept of marketing department LV, I think, is so critical for businesses. In my years of experience being in public relations, I've been in business for almost 12 years. And one of the biggest challenges that I've seen with small businesses is creating a cohesive marketing strategy. And I think that what we do here at Marketing Department LV is a solution to that, a solution to the shotgun approach to marketing, trying things that don't necessarily reap the greatest results. And again, I'm just really appreciate the opportunity for over a year to be a part of what we're doing here at Marketing Department LV. And I'm specifically going to talk about how you can leverage the power of media to bring growth to your business. As David had mentioned earlier, you can't steer something that's not in motion. And I'm a big believer in that. I believe that any action that you take is better than no action at all. And that while I had said before that having a cohesive marketing strategy is something that will ultimately bring you the greatest success, you have to start somewhere. And the low-hanging fruit tactics that he had mentioned before, get in motion and utilize your low-hanging fruits. I think those are business basics. And I hope to give you some low-hanging fruit today with my presentation. I am the managing member of Classic Communications, PR and Advertising LLC. I started my business back in 2008. We are your solution for business success. And the challenges that I've seen businesses face over the time that I've been running my company is a lack of consistent media exposure. And I'm sure everyone out there would like to get more exposure from the media. There are very few businesses that do consistently get that exposure. Also, an inability to effectively communicate the message of the business, what it is that you want to get across to the world. What do you want the business to connect to when they think of what it is that you do? Another challenge I've seen a lot is a failure to establish a winning communications plan. Back to the strategy of being able to set yourself up to win by knowing where it is that you want to ultimately end up and the pieces of the puzzle that you need to put into place in order to make that happen. The challenges that you have if you're unsuccessful is you miss opportunities to expose your brand to larger audiences that could potentially increase your sales. There are so many media opportunities out there for a person who is in business or a part of an organization, and it's really the approach. It's knowing about how to go about it so that you put yourself in front of more people, which will put you in a position to have more opportunity to make sales. And the mission of my company, or our company, Classic Communications, is we provide businesses, organizations, and individuals the highest quality public relations and marketing services. And to get in contact with us, you can click that link there to learn more about our business. The key points from my talk today will be leveraging traditional media for credibility, creating your own new media outlets and thrive, and also make your business a magnet for media coverage. Television and radio publicity in the new age. So we are in a new age where there are media platforms that did not exist even 20 years ago that are very prominent in the way that we do media in this new millennium. Even with all the new technology that is definitely lending a lot of credibility to businesses through other outlets, television and radio publicity is still, in terms of the credibility that brings your business, it's the king and queen, as I had mentioned here. Just because of the longevity of television, how long it's been around, and radio as well, a person who promotes their business, has an opportunity to be seen on radio or television, still has a built-in credibility just because people believe in these types of platforms. And I think that it is critical to embrace the old and embrace the new at the same time when you're trying to get exposure for your business in terms of media. Because of the long-standing stranglehold that these two platforms have had on the communication that we do in media, it always works well when you can get yourself a plug on TV. And there are so many different platforms that you can use to get yourself there. I know that the one bullet point I have here is the basics of all communication with the media, aside from having a great connection with someone who works at a television station or knowing someone who has their own radio show. But maybe I'll get into these before I get into actually creating a press release to target your local media. But as all of us know, networking is powerful. If you want to have an opportunity to be a part of something related to television or radio, it's always good if you know someone or know someone who is actually in the media, because they will put you in a position that will be much more favorable than sometimes when you're selling a story. There are a lot of things that you have to do to make that happen. So just as in networking, you have to understand that media is also a form of networking. And if you know people who are involved in traditional media, I would say reach out to them or reach out to people who might know them. We are actually entering a time of the year near Christmas where media stories are limited because everyone is so focused on getting prepared for Christmas, the holidays, all these different things are going on right now. And this is a time when media has a shortage of stories to tell.
Mm.
I would encourage anyone during the next couple of weeks, especially it starts to pick up around New Year's, specifically in Las Vegas, because we have such a big to do about what we do here in this town. But over these next, say, 10 days, approaching media with a story, just anything about your business would be an excellent opportunity to get some media because there's not a lot of stories out there. Certain times of the year lend better to getting good media. So yeah, your networking that you're doing for your business, if you've got those types of contacts within the traditional media, I would say that you would definitely want to consider reaching out to people and sharing great things about your business or your organization with them to see if they'd be interested in getting a story. One of the things I think that we underestimate as people that are in business or people in general is that because there is so much media available, they are constantly in need of stories. And so never think that you're not important enough to have a story run on television or to be a guest on someone's radio show. In reality, they really need people like us to bring them content. And again, you can take advantage of certain times of the year. We're heading into a political year, which is going to make things a lot more challenging in terms of getting media because there's so much coverage of that politics. But a time like this, it's around the holidays, basically from Thanksgiving until the first of the year, is a great window in terms of being able to reach out and get stories played because there's a need for lots of great stories. I'm a huge believer in using a press release as a way to target local media first. And a press release is a basic sort of invitation that you present to a media outlet to connect with them to see if they might be interested in the story that you have to tell. They're very simple to create. This is a do-it-yourself product. My company, of course, we can create a great press release for you and distribute it. However, there are a lot of templates out there that can help any business person or any sales professional create a formatted platform to be able to present to local media or any media for that matter that will give a basic explanation of what your business is all about. And having been a reporter, I've been on both sides of this. I'm a public relations and marketing guy now, but for many years I was on the other side being a reporter writing for publications. And I always enjoyed getting well-written press releases because basically when you write a good press release, you make it easier for the reporter because it gives all the basics of the story, and all they have to do, if it's something that they feel is newsworthy, all they have to do is maybe get a couple of quotes from you. They can basically use that press release to write the story. It makes things a lot simpler for the person on the other end. And that's something that, again, me having been on both sides, that it's been helpful to me, understanding that you want to make things as easy as possible for the person who could potentially provide you the media. So writing a basic press release and targeting local media first. I think it's important to target the local media first because you have a much better chance of being able to connect with local media than you do with national media. Not to say that your story wouldn't be worthy of national media, but sometimes it can be challenging to connect with those people because they're being inundated with stories from all over the country, all over the world. It'd be a lot easier if you didn't have the connection to target a local media source. Number one, because you're local to them, which they know is going to be something that will be of interest either on television or the radio. People love local news. They love learning things about people who are close to them. And so I would say make your first targets local media. And who knows, you might have a story that is so interesting that potentially could go to national media with it. Or maybe sometimes great stories start at the local media level and graduate to the national media platforms. So I would say yes, you can Google online all over the place and find excellent templates to write press releases. And a lot of your focus, I would say, is write a good headline. Headlines basically are about 80% of the success of any press release that you put out there is based on the headline, because that is what captures the interest of the person on the other end that's reading it. In this case, it would be a reporter that's reading the press release, or the producer of the show. So focus on making that a catchy thing, something that's going to be interesting, short, sharp, to the point, but put yourself together a good press release. I think any business can benefit from doing that. There is an excellent there is an online platform that I personally use and have used for many years that's free, that you can distribute press releases online. So when you do this, you'll actually be reaching out to the larger media. So you will be going beyond just the local press that I had mentioned before that you can send press releases to. It's called PRLog.org. You can go to that website. It's very user-friendly, and basically, once you've taken the template and created your press release, you can take that content, plug it into PRLog, and you can distribute that press release really literally all over the world. And one of the things that I like about PRLog is, number one, that it's free. It's always about getting as much free press as you can possibly generate, and that's a good way of managing your marketing dollars. Just try to get as much free press as possible. So PRLog is free. It reaches a large audience. And one of the things that I also really like about PRLog is that the analytics are fantastic. So you literally can see the progress of the press release day by day. First couple of days are usually really hot for a press release. You can see how many people have actually reached it, how many people have read it, opened it. Being able to see those analytics, it's exciting because it's a great way to measure how effective your press release is. What is the level of interest in the story that you're presenting to the world? That's why one of the reasons why I think it's important to utilize these online press platforms is because they can show you how interested people are in the story it is that you're telling. So I would highly recommend that as a do-it-yourself product, and just get your press release out there. There are a lot of other ways that you can distribute your press release. You can distribute it through social media. PRLog actually has links that you can embed on your social media platforms and spread. So they actually give you the ability to plug into all your social media platforms, and you send your press releases out. So you're always wanting to take advantage of social media in partnership with these traditional media platforms that I'm talking about, because the two are really integrating on a high level at this point.
Hey guy, quick question.
Yes.
How does PRLog monetize itself? Meaning, there's a free level, is there a paid level, or is it just an open source free press release?
So there is a free level and there's also a paid level. They monetize themselves on the free level through advertising, because if you do free PRLog posts, there are ads on your posts.
Okay.
Which, when you go to the paid version, where you're literally paying them to do the distribution, it's advertising free.
Okay. Thank you.
I mean, and there is value in paying for distributing a press release through the PRLog. I mean, the fact is that basically for what you pay for, you're going to be getting probably connected with a lot more news sources. They have a way of funneling your press release into other sources. One of the challenges that I've always had with the paid versions of this, and again, I've used paid versions, I do use them for clients. The challenge that I have is that just because a news agency has received your press release, and you can say seen by the Today Show or as seen by CNN. Not to say that that's not a good thing, that you can say that, but the actual value of that in terms of a story being created from that press release, that doesn't always happen. So again, and David, you were mentioning before when you were doing the introduction about how I'm always looking for ways to give people the most bang for their buck.
Yes.
And you don't always see that in PR and marketing. And so again, it's for some people, there is a tremendous amount of value in being seen, as seen by NBC or as seen by CBS or any of these news. And you literally, when you pay for distributing a press release, you can say that. Now, whether or not that actually creates the story that's going to put you in front of people that will bring you the return on your investment, I question that.
So you spend something like $250 on PR Web, which is a paid press release. And what you're saying is that if you go with PRLog, it'll be free. Yes, you'll have people's advertisements on there, but you'll get the same ultimate value of distribution or something similar.
Yeah, I do. I really do believe that.
Okay.
And again, not to say that them picking up a story from you potentially because you paid, that couldn't, but it's a crapshoot. Because what you're saying is, okay, I'm going to pay for this, and then I can say literally that my press release was published through one of these media platforms, but what are the guarantees that that's going to lead to a story? Yeah, I'm much more about putting the work in. The people on my staff who go out there looking for opportunities, media opportunities, if you're paying my firm to do it, we want to find ways to make it more cost effective for you.
Okay. Well,
So
that's worth the whole webinar right there.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
had a friend actually recently who called me. He lives in Tucson, and he had someone that approached him, wanted him to write a press release, and he wanted the real deal, in terms of what do you do with a press release? And I gave him that explanation. I said, for some people, they will want the prestige of having been seen, published by a major media plan. And literally for the $250, you can say I was as seen on CNN or any of these, or BBC or any of these networks. So it's not a lie that they're telling. It's just that they're not really giving the whole story behind how media truly works. So just because your press release was published on CNN, that doesn't mean that that your story was seen. I'm all about how do we get where we are actually seen on CNN. That's a whole nother level of media. When you are someone who actually has a story that is published on CNN, that's what I'm striving for when I'm working with clients, is to actually have that story be seen, because that's where you're going to get the publicity that you need that can increase sales.
Thank you. Wow. Powerful.
Just real quick, as far as the press release itself, is that what you do? Is there a tutorial to show me how to do that, or who does that?
Yes. So I had mentioned that there are templates that are available online that will teach you how to write one. Of course, yes, it's my business. So, I've written literally thousands of press releases. So does that answer your question?
Yeah. I missed that piece about the online templates. I guess I didn't hear that.
Yes. So yes, there are templates out there that will give you the basics of how to write a great press release. It's just like anything, right? If you're a mechanic, there are instruction manuals that'll teach you how to work on your car. And then there are mechanics out there who do it every day, and so they're really good at it. So this is what I do for a living, write and distribute press releases. However, everything I'm talking about today, there's always a do-it-yourself component to it.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
So as I had mentioned before, you're always going to be striving to get as much free press as you possibly can. There are paid media opportunities out there that can put you in front of great audiences. A quick example, since we're all from Las Vegas, is I have one of my clients he's a great tax guy, and he does taxes specifically for businesses. And tax season is coming up, and he wanted to get in front of a big audience. And we got him a paid advertorial opportunity on the Morning Blend. It's a pretty popular show. I'm sure many of you might have watched it. And so he got a chance, but it did cost, and they make no bones about it being a news story. It is truly an advertorial opportunity. And he went on there and he got a chance to talk about his business in front of a large audience. I think there's about 44,000 people watch the Morning Blend every morning. So he had a 6-minute spot, and he got to go on there, talk about his business. He has gotten interest as a direct result of that. For him, because of the sticker price for what he does, for him to invest in something like that, he does a couple of does taxes for a couple of businesses, and he makes his money back right away. So for him, that was a good investment. There are other things that we've also done that were not paid. So I would say, I guess it just depends on the audience that you're trying to reach and the budget that you have. But I always try to get as much free press as possible. But there are paid media opportunities that are excellent. And really quickly, I want to talk about promoting your business in newspapers, magazines, and local publications. So here's how a newspaper story made a businesswoman a multimillionaire. For all of us, I think we're all old enough to remember when microwaves started, which was back in the late 70s. A lady I interviewed on the radio one time it was a couple of years ago, shared her story. She was the first person to ever write a cookbook about microwave ovens. This was around 1978 or 79. And if all of you can remember, microwaves were like $3,000 back then. I mean, super expensive. Very few people had microwave ovens. But she was the first person to ever create a cookbook about one. The LA Times out in LA found out about this cookbook. She was literally running this business out of her basement and selling it. It was like it was direct mail that she was sending these books. She would write the books, and she had printed copies, and then she would send them through direct mail to people. But they picked up this story about how to cook things in a microwave oven, and they ran a big feature about it. And it was unbelievable, the response that she got. I mean, she couldn't keep up with the amount of requests for this book. She had to hire a whole staff to be able to keep up with the amount of requests that people had for this microwave oven book that she had written. And it literally turned her business into a multi-million-dollar business as a direct result of a news story published in a popular publication. So I say that to tell you that never underestimate how powerful, even though newspapers are on the decline, the printed version of them anyway, still never underestimate how powerful a news story about your business can be. It literally turned her complete world around, having a story published in a newspaper. And to this day, you never know. It's always worth it to try. It never hurts to try to get a story published somewhere. As I had mentioned before, local news. People want to know about what the guy next door is doing. While there is a big decline in the large publications in terms of the amount of people who are buying newspapers, local news continues to thrive. And I think that the reason why that is because people like to read about things that they can connect with. The local news publications, and we don't even have, I remember we used to have printed local news publications, and they've all gone online. But people are still reading these local publications, and I would say if you had an opportunity to be a part of The View, which is the local newspaper that we have here in town, it has gone completely online, but if you could get a story published there, reach out to them. A lot of those reporters are, they're just regular people, and they're looking for stories. They're constantly they need content. And reach out to a local publication and see if you could get something published with them. There are also paid local publications where basically you could get an advertorial in one of them, negotiate something with them. Advertising and a story combined. That's what I'm big on. Always, if you're going to do advertising with a publication, you always want to, if you're going to pay, make sure that you get a story to back up that advertising. And you'd be amazed at what these media outlets will negotiate with you on. They have prices that they bring to you, but again, they're in business. It's just like all of us. We just want to make the story, we make the deal work. And it's the same thing with publication. They want to put a deal together. And so always, whenever you buy advertising, always see if there's any way that there can be an actual story that goes along with that advertising that you buy. Why people don't throw magazines away? How many of you throw magazines away? Very few people do. Why? Because it's glossy and it's tangible, and people just don't do it. So that's magazines, again, I would always be striving for, if you're going to either get a free story, which you could. It's becoming much more challenging nowadays to get free stories in magazines because the publications have figured out that we can basically monetize this platform without having to give stories away. But if you have an exceptional story that a magazine might be interested in, I'm a really big supporter of magazines, because I see at Barnes and Noble, they don't sell newspapers there anymore very much, but you can see how big the magazine rack is there.
Mm-hmm.
And because that rack is so big, what that tells me is people are buying magazines. And so for you as the business owner, again, it could be a great advertorial opportunity for you, and or advertising opportunity, but I would always say make it an advertorial opportunity. Always try to get that publication to give you both advertising and a story in the publication. New media levels the press playing field. I was one of the people back in 2008 and 9 when Facebook started to be prominent that was not a huge believer in the viability of it. And I very quickly changed my mind when I saw how many people started getting involved in being on Twitter and Facebook. And so I've had even a larger shift through the years with what I call the new media, which is digital media, and the way that it has really leveled the playing field of press. It has literally allowed everyone to create their own media company. And you as a business owner can distribute a lot of content through these digital platforms that I'm going to be talking about over the next few minutes, and reach audiences that are the equivalent or larger than what you could actually reach by being on one of those traditional platforms that I was talking about a few minutes ago. I mean, with the right work ethic and consistency, you can reach a much larger audience, even than that 44,000 that I had mentioned that my client had paid for through traditional media. Using social media as a PR platform. One of the things that I like about social media as a PR platform is that it allows you to communicate with loyal followers. These are people who you already know, you've met maybe through business networking, you have a business page, they're familiar with it, and it allows you to consistently communicate with people that you already know. You can also build pages and reach the masses. And the only thing that limits your ability to reach the masses is your consistency. I mean, I'm so big on that. Social media is a wonderful platform to reach people. It allows you to put your business in front of an audience literally of billions of people. It's just you have to keep at it. You have to be consistent. You have to have a message. You have to have a strategy for how you go about it. It's not just throwing a bunch of things on the wall and seeing what sticks. I don't think that that's an effective strategy at all for public relations via social media. But the potential is there. It is still an underused platform to create publicity for your business. Again, it's free. And one of the rules that I talked about earlier in this talk is always, always, always take advantage of free publicity. And Facebook gives you, Twitter, LinkedIn, all these platforms give you the ability to create your own free publicity every single day. I just don't understand why more businesses don't utilize their social media in an effective way. It is absolutely free publicity, especially Facebook. I think Facebook is the ultimate PR platform. Twitter is not as public relations oriented, in my opinion, as Facebook is, and LinkedIn is also really effective, more on the PR side. Twitter is great for marketing, though. Very effective tool for marketing. So take advantage of that free publicity. And of course, you've got people out there, and we have friends that we see who are doing very well with social media. How do you know someone's a big fish when it comes to social media? It's because you're seeing them all the time. If you're seeing someone all the time in social media, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. See what they're doing. See the types of posts that they're creating. And basically take your brand and imitate what it is that they're doing. You don't always have to be the person that is the innovator or the creator. Sometimes effective public relations is just watching what the other guy does and copying it. I'm not saying infringe on their copyrights and things like that. I'm just saying watch the strategies that they're utilizing and embrace them and use them for your own business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no copyright on strategy and process. There's more, the copyright is on content.
Right, I agree. It's just the techniques that they're using. You can study the techniques and utilize them for your own business, and you're not infringing. And again, that way you're not having to figure things out all the time. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people doing with social media is that they try to figure out things. They're constantly trying to figure out what works. So that's why people hire me as a marketing consultant, because I've worked with a lot of people. I have a pretty good feel for what works when it comes to social media. And I give them consultation so that I eliminate the need to have to always try to throw a bunch of things on the wall. We go in with a strategy that I know works for clients that I'm already working with, that I'm utilizing for my own business. And so we don't have to figure things out. Yeah, study the big fish.
A wrong strategy on social media can actually be dangerous for your business, because you can get your account shut down, and then people go to your page and it says this page has been suspended, and that can't be good business PR.
Right. Or another thing I see is that, so people have a business page, but on their personal side, they get involved in things like politics. So what they do not realize, in my opinion, you shouldn't talk about politics if you're in business, unless you have a very narrow niche that you're involved in and that you're only wanting to market to a very specific group. And things that you're doing on your personal side do truly interlink with things that are happening on your business side. So I see that. I see people and they're making all these bold statements with their opinions about politics. And then they're not looking at the fact that when people see that you're so adamant about your point of view when it comes to politics, they don't even want to do business with you, because you are completely diametrically opposed to what they believe in. If you hadn't talked so fervorously or been so adamant about your position, they might have done business with you. So I mean, again, I'm a big believer in neutrality when it comes to social media. Anything you post is fair game, even if it's not on your business page. If you're friends with a person, or if you're posting things in social media, people can see it, and it can affect your business. So I know people have very strong opinions about things, but in my opinion, if you're a professional and you're trying to do business, that you should stay away from that, unless you have a very targeted business that's geared towards, and there are people that have businesses like that, where they have a very targeted audience. They're not trying to reach that many people, and they do very well with that demographic, and they can let their personal opinions overlap with what they do in business.
What you said You know, what you said, Guy, is right on. And in the past, that was true. In this coming supercharged political climate where there's so much division, it's even more true, because the coming into this next year, you can just bet that if you give a political view, you're going to alienate 50% of your potential market because everyone's so divided.
Yeah, and just to prove a point, and
Mhm.
again, I mean, everyone has their own opinions. This is America, and you should have your own opinion. You just don't have to share it with everyone, especially when you're in business. If you're
Mhm.
a civilian and you're not in business and you want to share and rant about politics, I mean, that's what social media is for. It's just if you're in business and if you want to sell things, why would you want to potentially alienate people who would buy from you because of your politics? And believe me,
Absolutely.
people will make buying decisions based on the opinions that you've expressed. They will do that. It can cost you business. And if you want to just continue to do that, and I mean, okay, but it's going to affect the bottom line of your business. It can
Mhm.
affect.
Very good.
Podcasting and video content creation. You can market your business expertise with an internet radio show. And I have an internet radio station that I help businesses market themselves through. I'm a huge believer in that platform as well as the video platform. Again, this is goes back to what I was talking about a few minutes ago. We literally can create our own media outlets at this stage. It's one of the wonderful things that is leveling the playing field, because you can build your own audience and stay in front of your own audience. And so doing these things doesn't always necessarily directly lead to a sale tomorrow, but the consistent exposure of your brand online will lead to sales, just because people keep seeing you and seeing you and seeing you. And the more you stay in front of them, the more apt they are when the time comes that they want to buy what it is that you have to sell, that they'll think of you. You can create a lot of front of mind awareness through podcasting and creating video content on a consistent basis. And again, what you do is you take this content that you create and you distribute it through social media, through email marketing, which I'll touch on in a second, and much underused platform that can bring businesses success with media. And you integrate the two. You integrate the content that you created with social media, and you stay in front of people consistently. Be seen as someone who is bringing great content to the world. And eventually, you will get business from it. I get business all the time based on content that I created many years ago. It's really interesting. When people come back to you, say a person comes to you and they say, I saw a show that you did 4 years ago, and
Mhm.
now I'm ready. I got an inheritance and I'm ready to get my business started. Can you help me with that? Never underestimate how much power you can build in your business through content that you create. Take advantage of these low cost platforms, do it yourself. You can create your own podcast. You can create your own video content if you have a smartphone, or you can just buy a microphone and create your own podcast. Nowadays, they've made it really easy for you to be able to share your message with a lot of people sitting in your office or in your bedroom.
Mhm.
Or, of course, if you wanted to get in contact with me, I can show you some of the strategies that we use as a company to help you as well. Webinars. I am a huge, huge fan of webinars. I know we are doing one here. And to me, webinars exemplify what the new media is all about. And the reason why I think they are media personified is because there's so much versatility. You're all watching a webinar. We'll be watching this recording of a webinar. It's an evergreen product that can be created very inexpensively, that you can do so many things with. Distribute through social media, distribute through emails. There are actual sites that you can go to monetize webinars.
Mm.
that you can, create specific content and set a price, put the webinar on the site, and you can basically create a passive income stream, recording content that you've created that people think is valuable. You must take advantage of webinars. You've got so many of these platforms, Zoom.us and so many, that will allow you to even have free accounts. You don't even have to necessarily use the paid version of them. And they allow you to record the content, high quality recordings of the content. You must take advantage of webinars, in my opinion. If you are in business, they're valuable for both external and internal communication. So as I had mentioned before, you can create these webinars, record them, and distribute them to the world. But you can also use webinars as a way to work with your teams. I do within Classic Communications. We do a lot of our meetings nowadays through webinar platforms. And so, yes, please, if you want to make more money in your business, create a webinar. It can be the most basic way. It doesn't have to be long. Just record some content, distribute it, and you will see that you can start to build a following. As we're doing here with Marketing Department LV with these webinars, you can do the same thing within your own business with high quality webinars. They don't even necessarily have to be extremely high quality webinars. Just the fact that you've put them together, you have ideas that you're sharing in this platform is great for business. You have anything to say about that, David?
Well, definitely, because you have a webinar, and from that webinar, you can create a blog article. Now you've got a blog article on your website. You take the webinar video, and underneath that, you can see with the marketing department webinars, we've done exactly this, that you have your blog article. It can be a transcript of the webinar. Now you've got, and you keyword optimize that. Now you've got a keyword optimized blog article. And then you take that webinar video, you put it on YouTube and optimize it. Now you've got a YouTube channel that has valuable content. And you can take the content of that webinar and blog article, and you can turn it into 100 social media posts, and each of them pointing back to the blog article, and you've got a strong call to action on the blog article. So from that one theme that you did in the webinar, you've got YouTube, you've got social media, you've got your website content growing, and you've got a strong call to action. You can even e-blast it. Now you're using it in your email marketing, where you e-blast a teaser and point it back to that blog article. So one webinar can cover all of digital media. It's pretty cool.
So powerful and underrated. And so again, you're looking for marketing strategies that are going to be effective. And I know there are lots of people out there who want to sell you media. And I understand why they want to sell you media. It just may or may not be the best thing for your business to invest. Just because they say it's the best thing doesn't necessarily mean that it is the best thing. But something like a webinar it's under your control. As David had mentioned, there are just so many things that you can do. You can create a podcast. With Zoom.us, you have the audio version of it. So you can even strip the audio version and turn it into just a non-visual podcast that you put on SoundCloud. Now you're distributing it through to a whole nother social media audience. So yeah, I could do a whole one of these presentations just about the wonderful uses with webinars.
Very good. That's worth the whole webinar too.
Websites, the internet face of your business. The websites, I feel, are basically the representation online of your business, and having a good website is valuable. And I know that we have a person within Marketing Department LV named Tori Jones, who has built websites for me in the past, and she's really great at it. Having a well-constructed website is basically something that you must do to be a part of the new media. You can use social media to get people there. as a driver. I think one of the biggest uses and functions of social media is to get people onto your website. And you've got a lot of platforms out there that will allow you to do just that. Just keep steering people from the social media. There should always be a link in any social media post to your website. You absolutely want to drive people, because that's where you can give them the true explanation of what your business is all about. You know, you want to make your website new media friendly. These things that I've been talking about, definitely social media icons. You want to have videos there. You can actually create your own media page on your website, where all these media platforms that we've been talking about, the webinars, the podcasts, everything could go in a media page. And then people go to your website, they click on the media page, and then they get to see all the media that you've created for your company. Basically, gold, absolute gold, having an effective website that adds that new media component. And of course, you want to keep your website content fresh and interesting by adding new content all the time. You want to, of course, David had mentioned blogging, and I'm not going to touch on that one too much in here, but there's another platform for new media that is incredibly effective for getting you more search engine optimization for your business. So yes, fresh written content, fresh video content, audio content, just content. You want to run through your website all the time to help you with that search engine optimization. Those spiders that people like David know all about, that I don't know very much about, that are crawling around out there, are always looking for content.
Well, I would say one thing that I usually say to people is that whatever content you put out on the internet, whether it's on your website, social media, or anywhere, it's like a block of melting ice. And so its value begins to decrease over time. Guys mentioned how the value remains. There's still value, but when he's talking about fresh content, that is really powerful. That's you got the whole block there.
Right. Yeah, you have to, it's, you know, how badly do you want people to know about your business? How badly do you want to put your business in front of the people who will potentially buy something from you? And the content in this digital world that we live in, where people are finding or making choices based on reviews, the way your website looks, the way that your social media appears. How badly do you want your business to be exposed? Well, with this new media, we have a lot of control over that. In the past, we didn't. We had to rely on newspaper ads, appearances on television, things like that. But now, in this new age, we have a lot of control over how much exposure our business gets. It's really just about our imagination and how much work we're willing to put into developing these platforms. Make PR connections with email marketing and text marketing campaigns. I know, and I encounter people in business all the time who tell me no one reads emails anymore. Emails are dead. And I am here to tell you that email marketing is not dead. Email marketing is thriving as much as it ever has. And the reason why email marketing is continuing to thrive is until they find another way for us to communicate with ourselves on the level that you can communicate amongst each other, the way that we do with emails. People are going to open and read their emails. That has not changed. They have not developed. And I know that people are messaging through social media, and there's apps that are out there that allow you to message. So I know that there are other platforms that allow you to do that, but I have yet to see a platform that allows you the versatility that sending a basic email, any email that you create, let alone the marketing platforms that we use to distribute and get you in front of your followers and audiences all over the world, literally. There is no platform yet that replaces what emails can do. And because of that, email marketing is thriving. People are still opening emails. I'm a big believer in email marketing through platforms. I personally am a representative of Constant Contact. I've been using that platform for 7 or 8 years. And what I like about it is it gives the analytics So it lets you know who's opening the emails, when they're opening the emails. It allows you to embed videos into the emails that you create that sends you to a social media site. So there again, as David was talking about, it allows you to integrate with all the other platforms. You have social media icons in the email marketing blast that you create to send out to the list that you've generated through your networking that you're doing. And all these contacts that you have, you've got the business cards. How can you stay in front of them? Having the business card is not enough to stay in front of people so that you are the front of mind person that they're thinking about when they want to make a buying decision. Email marketing allows you to do that. Even if you're only sending out an email newsletter once a month, although I would recommend that you do it probably at least twice a month, if not once a week, to promote your business. But even once a month, if you're just sending a newsletter out with some information about your business, maybe a short video where you're talking about a specific product that you offer, you are creating a front of mind awareness that sets you apart from about 90% of the people who are in business. And if you're doing this consistently, you will make money through email marketing. And it's a very, very inexpensive platform that produces a high return on investment. I know it does for my business. I know it does for clients who I work with. The ROI on email marketing is tremendous. And you've got free platforms out there that allow you to do email marketing, and you have paid platforms. So take advantage of whichever one works best for you and your budget. And again, as I had mentioned before, it allows you to publicize your business and promote it to your prized contacts, which is your database. And so having been a part of the networking community here in Las Vegas for many years, I know that my friends have contacts. They get these business cards, they go to the networking events. And what I'm saying is you've got these contacts, you've got these people who you've met. Give them content and stay front of mind with them. Touches. We all know how important touches are in sales. Touch them through sending them emails. Track your results, rinse and repeat. As I had mentioned before, with email marketing, as opposed to using just any other email service, you can actually track your results, see who's opening, see the percentage of people who are opening your emails. And the analytics are so important to me in being able to see the effectiveness of the campaign. There's no guesswork when it comes to email marketing. You know how well your campaign did because the analytics will show you that. Social media also shows you that. Take advantage of the smartphone craze. Everyone reads text messages. I do a lot of text marketing in my business, and who doesn't read their text messages? There are text messaging platforms out there that will allow you to, of course, with the permission of the person who you are sending the text message to, they can opt in to receive content from you via text message. The open rate on text messaging it's like 80%. Everyone's got their phones with them all the time. Why wouldn't you take advantage of a platform that allows you to reach people at such a high level, and the open rate is 80 to 85% when it comes to text messaging? Great way to reach out and touch people. And so again, there are do-it-yourself platforms out there. The one that I personally use is called Textedly. It's an excellent platform. I've been using it for several years. And again, you can get people to opt in to receive text messages from you, and you can send out information about new products that you have. When you put a webinar on, if you're a restaurant, if you've got specials that you're offering to people, you can send through this text marketing platform. You can do it through your own phone as well. I just believe that the text messaging platforms are much more professional. It allows you to embed pictures. Some of these platforms even allow you to embed videos into your text message. So this is what the new media is all about. We can touch people very close. You can't get any closer to a person than having a text message come up on their phone that you sent. And it's just another form of touching.
What was that platform again, Guy?
It's called Textedly.
Textedly.
Textedly. Textedly. Textedly.com is the website.
Huh, Textedly. Okay.
Textedly.
Textedly. Okay.
And there are
Okay.
lots of other platforms out there. I just personally have found a lot of value with Textedly. You've also got the analytics that show you the percentage of the opens and things. And so, yes, text marketing, vastly underused platform for small business. How to make your business a media magnet. As I've been mentioning throughout this presentation, your efforts have to be consistent. Fresh content, as David had mentioned a couple of minutes ago, you've got a big block of ice every time you send out a post. I had never thought about that analogy, but it's an excellent analogy. Every time you make a post, you've got a big block of ice out there. But unless you put another block of ice out there, or you've got a freezer that's going to contain that block of ice, it does melt very quickly, and people forget about you because there are so many things out there that distract them. You have to consistently create content to stay and create that front of mind awareness that you need with people to drive them to potentially make a sale. It's also always about synergistic relationships. So if it's making connections with people in the media, as I had mentioned before, as a way to get press, or if it is about developing a following on social media, or if it's about the contacts that you have through networking and sending email blasts out to them regularly. It's all about people. These are digital platforms. They're mechanisms to reach people. You have to understand that it's still a people. All business is related to relationships with people. And it's really about cultivating those relationships and using these traditional or digital platforms to cultivate those synergistic relationships that will ultimately help your business and create the connections that can help other people's businesses. Someone's in the chat. Billy. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Billy, for your feedback. Protect your brand like a gem is the next point that I want to touch on. And it kind of relates to what I had talked about a few minutes ago, that you have to be very careful about what you're saying on these digital platforms, because it's like we live in a fishbowl nowadays. Protect your brand like a gem. Whenever you push that send button, if it's a social media send button, or the send button for an email blast, or a text message that you send out to people, know that that becomes a part of the ether. That is a part of our world. You ever push that send button, no matter if you think you've erased things, you've hidden things, you've never hidden. You never know what cyberspace is doing with things that you've sent out. Always be careful. Never send things out when you're mad. Never send things out when you've been drinking. You can create so much chaos that will have a negative effect on your business by a poor choice of pushing that send button. Protect your brand like a gem, because it's all you have.
Yeah, one bad send can just totally ruin years of work.
We've seen it happen. A bad push on a send button, or just a poor choice that a person made, having such a huge impact, negative effect on their business. Be careful of what you do in your life if you're in business. Again, it's different than being a civilian. A normal person can go and do things, and they're not being observed the way that you are when you are someone who is in business. When you are in business, people are watching what you do all the time. You have to understand that it's a different standard that we adhere to, being people who have decided to be in business. Everything that you're doing is being observed, and it can affect your ability to grow your business or to reach more people. And that's what we all really want to do. We know we have a good product. We want to reach more people, but we can really hurt ourselves with actions that we take that won't allow us to be able to reach the people that we want to help.
Yeah, we've seen huge businesses go down based on one racial or gender slur. And then all of a sudden the business is trashed. National businesses, national brands.
and it's just totally unnecessary.
Mhm.
All you have to do is just keep your opinions to yourself.
Mhm.
Keep your opinions to yourself, and you're gonna, it's, again, this is America. Everyone's allowed to have whatever opinion they want. It's one of the great things about this country. You just don't necessarily have to share it with the whole world,
Mhm.
especially if you're in business, because it will affect, as David had mentioned a second ago, what you say can have monumental consequences
Mhm.
uh, in terms of you being able to continue to run your business.
Mhm.
And the last thing I want to say is, as always, ask, ask, ask. Ask for media. Ask for opportunities to promote your brand places. One of the places, and I'm nearing the end of this, but there was a PR piece that I missed that I also think is valuable for any small business in particular, and that is having an expo. Participating in expos and having a table is a great public relations tool. They're relatively inexpensive, and they allow you to promote your brand in front of a lot of people, and also to make connections through the networking component. And so, yes, if you ever get an opportunity to have a booth at either a chamber event or some of these great networking events that we have here in town, I would say that that would be an excellent investment for you. You get a lot of bang for your buck if you've got your table at a good networking event.
Mhm.
But as always, ask, ask, ask. Ask for opportunities to promote your business, and the more you ask, the more you will receive. My company and marketing department LV can help you craft a winning public relations plan. My company personally, we give you a half-hour consultation for free. We have a variety of PR packages that can fit any budget. Again, along with the fact that I'm doing this with my own personal business, we're also doing things in the partnership with Marketing Department LV, so where we can bring you all the pieces of the puzzle, along with my PR component. But we do offer do-it-yourself options, and you can be a guest on the prconnectionsradio.com network, which is an internet streaming network that I offer. I'm always looking for content, as I had mentioned before. People who are creating media always need content. I am always looking for business owners who want to promote themselves, and you can come on, do an interview on my radio station, and I can show you some of the avenues that you can take that interview that you do with me and distribute to bring more brand exposure to your business. So I appreciate having the opportunity to present this information to you all today. PR is possible. Media, it can be a turning point in your business, can be brought to you through media, and I wish you all success and continued prosperity in the things that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Guy. I tell you that a person could go back over this webinar with a fine-tooth comb and just pull out a marketing plan for 2020 that in itself will, you have specific things you can do, you have actions you can take. You can get your marketing in motion by doing just a few of the things that Guy has mentioned. And then, of course, you can go to the next level, and maybe you're tired of inventing the wheel and all the time that it takes, because that DIY stuff takes a lot of time, a lot of trial and error, and working with someone like Guy can accelerate the curve that gets you out there faster, where you can begin to see returns more quickly. So thank you, Guy.
Thank you again for the opportunity, David.